Hi everyone, and welcome to another video tutorial. In this clip, we are going to be completing Lab 12, Task 4, which means we're going to be deploying out a VM from a template. So we're basically going to see how easy it is to create a new server operating system, instance of an operating system, that is going to be fully configured and ready to go with minimal input from us. All right, I'm already on the home screen. I'm going to click on vCenter, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here where the templates are. I'll select VM templates. We're going to see our one and only template at this point in time. To initialize the deployment, simply right-click and deploy VM from this template. It's going to launch a wizard for us, which will allow us to complete the deployment. So, what's the name that we're going to provide to this? This is going to be Gym01-2, and we have to select the inventory location. By default, it's the training data center, but I'm going to expand that out and pick Lab VMs. So it's going to be in the Lab VMs folder with all of our other virtual machines. Say next. And we need to know which host it's going to be associated with, so I'll pick ESXi1. That validates. We'll say next. And then what storage location. So we're going to pick one of our iSCSI targets, so that's going to be VMFS01. I'm going to leave the disk format the same. Right now it's thin provisioned. If for some reason you need to change from whatever the default format is, you can choose here either thin or one of the thick provisioning options. We're going to leave this thin, so I don't need to change that. We'll go next. And we want to customize, and we also want to power on when we're done. So this is going to show how easy it is just to create a completely customized guest operating system and have everything up and running. So I'm going to pick customize. I'm going to pick power on after the VM's been created. Say next. And since we said we're going to customize, we have to select our customization script. Only have one, so I'll pick that one. And we'll say next, and then here's our summary page, so we will finish. Okay. So that's done. You will notice over here in the right in our recent tasks, this clone operation is going on right now. It's going to take a few minutes because it has to copy a couple gigabytes of data over. In the meantime, I'm going to navigate back to home. I'm going to select on VMs and templates, and then within the Lab VMs folder, we can see that the new VM is not shown up yet because it's not finished copying the files over. That's a little bit further along. If I refresh this, we'll probably see the VM show up now. Sure enough, here it is. If I select on this guy, we can see in summary that the VM has not been powered on yet, but we can also see that this just finished. So in fact, it's refreshing for me now. Once that's finished refreshing, not quite to the point that it's powered on yet, but I will launch the console. And we're going to watch this because I want you to be able to see what happens as we go through this process. So what will happen is the VM is going to power up. Once it's started, it's going to take a little bit of time after that before it actually gets to the point that it's going to initialize the script that's going to do the customization. So it's going to kind of sit here at the login screen. So we'll just wait for this to start. You're going to see that the system is going to reboot, and then once it's rebooted, it will come back up and start that customization process. So we can see now that it's going through the restart cycle. This will take a few seconds here for the VM to reboot. And then once that comes back up, we're going to see a slightly different screen than what we've seen before for processing the customization script. Now it starts off as we would normally see. So it says it's, what Windows version it is, and then we'll see the boot up process saying that it's actually doing something along the bottom. Here, we see a notice saying that customization is in progress. Okay, this is totally a Windows thing, has nothing to do with VMware. So it's now read the script, and it's going to start processing that customization script that we created a few minutes ago in the previous task. Now, once it actually starts doing the processing, we're going to see what would typically be the customization prompts, or the prompts for information, if you see, going past on the screen now. It's going to come up in a second here and probably talk to us about licensing and network configuration, but we don't actually have to put any information in because that's all in the script. Once that's all done, it's going to go back through and do a reboot once again, and then we'll be ready to go. So we see, again, customization in progress. Now, those tasks, or those steps, if you wish, in the installation process went so fast it didn't even pop the prompts up on the screen. You may or may not see those come up on your deployment, kind of looking and saying, hey, I'm putting in the license information, I'm doing the network configuration. Once it's done, we'll have the reboot finished up. We'll be able to log in, and we'll make sure that everything is operating the way that we expect it to be. So we get the Windows starting up. Our next step is going to be logging in because the boot up will be finished. So we'll just give that a second here to take place. All right, so we're ready to log in. I'm going to tell it send it a Control-Alt-Delete. Make sure that we have focus on the password. I'm going to log in using the password we set up in customization. And sure enough, we are in. We can see those applications that we installed from before. If I pop up my command prompt, I'll do an IP config, and we should have IP configuration, and we do. I should be able to ping a default gateway. Let me make sure I can do that. And it is going to complain to me because I forgot to run the net configuration script. Bad on me. Let me kill that. I'll just make sure I can ping myself for now. And I can, that's good. I'm not going to re-record the entire video after I run the net config script, so I'm going to go off and do that now to make sure that my network configuration works. Last thing I want to do is I'm just going to pop back over onto the web client. I'm going to do a quick refresh here. And we should see that VMware Tools is installed and running. That was also done on the template, so that means that we don't have to do that again. So basically, we are now in the position that we have a Windows guest operating system running on a VM, totally configured. We didn't have to really do anything other than power it up and set the customization script when we were done. Now, there's one more step to doing this. You have to basically create another VM. I'm not going to bother going through that process. You've seen it once. So go ahead and create your next VM. I'm going to do that off screen, and then we will be ready to go next time. That's a wrap. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.